Buckley, but in the studio with me is Dan George, I want to say our boxing expert, because you are our go-to person for anything boxing.
Oh, that's very kind of you.
You good?
Yeah, no, I consider myself a bit of an all-rounder, but I do like my boxing, and there's a lot of it going on at the moment.
There is so much, but I want to focus because the WBO Championship Committee, they've actually ordered some negotiations in regards to the Roman Fress and the Chris Billam-Smith fight. Tell us more.
Yeah, so it's still very early stages in terms of this. Chris Billam-Smith has not been in the ring since that fight against Brandon Glanton a while back in the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Had a bit of unsavouriness about that with some of the stuff Brandon Glanton said about brain damage and stuff like that. So there was a lot of fallout after that. I actually spoke to Chris at a boxing show down in Bournemouth recently where Ryan Garner beat Reece Bellotti, and he said that a bit of time out of the ring's actually done him some good. He's at a stage right now in his career where he wondered if he was coming towards the end, but he's very much feeling rejuvenated and refreshed after this break. So and in terms of a mindset point of view, that's where he's at. With this, basically it's a short way of saying a fight is being ordered for him to work his way back to becoming a world champion again, which is what he wants to do. So this particular fight, the chap who's been ordered to fight is a German cruiserweight, only had one defeat, and the one defeat was actually to Armand Jojai, which Chris Billam-Smith beat in Bournemouth. Really spectacular kind of highlight reel knockout on his path to winning that world title originally. It's been ordered. Effectively, it means that pieces now have to go into place for this to effectively take shape, and it will be interesting to see, whilst there's a lot of kind of questions around broadcasting. I'm sure you've seen recently the BBC has announced a broadcast deal with Boxer and Ben Shalom, so it will be interesting to see what takes shape. I know Chris has still got one fight with Ben Shalom and Boxer, so I mean there's a lot of questions around it still, but it's early days and it looks encouraging in terms of what could be next for Chris.
And I know they've got 20 days to respond, both teams, both camps. They've got to get back to the WBO about this. Yeah,
this is kind of their way of making fights happen and ensuring it does, set these deadlines, or it can go to purse bids and certain people can bid on it. It's all really quite a confusing thing, but hopefully we should have some news, and it should be a bit of a clearer picture in the coming days and weeks in terms of what comes next.
And it's such a good point that you make. We've seen time and time again how many athletes and sports stars take a step back from competing for a little bit, and they come back stronger than ever before. Mentality, is stronger as well, and that's so important, especially when you're going into a boxing ring.
Boxing's so different. So you look at football. It's I mean, when you've got Club World Cups, it's all year round, isn't it? But it's just relentless throughout the season. Players never get a chance to stop. Boxing, you're almost kind of in control of your destiny, where you can take a bit of time if you want to. It's something about how you feel, and I guess it's very different compared to football because you're getting punched in the head, and it's in football it's not that taxing on the body. So it seems to have done him good. These kind of rests are important in terms of boxers, and especially Chris, I think, at this stage in his career. So you don't want to be fighting for the sake of it at 35 years old, which he is now. You want to be making those big fights, and that's the kind of fights you want to be involved in. Yeah,
absolutely. And I know there's going to be a big fight as well on Saturday evening.
Yes, I'm heading up to Altrincham for Jack Rafferty against Mark Chamberlain. Mark Chamberlain from Portsmouth. It's a really exciting fight for the British and Commonwealth super lightweight titles. It's something of a barn burner up in Altrincham at the it's at Planet Ice, funnily enough. Really? An ice rink.
Well, I hope the ring's not on the ice.
There's not going to be any of that. But there was a fight actually there recently, and I was chatting to some of our colleagues at Radio Oxford who went up for one of their fighters that was up there recently, and apparently, as you'd imagine, they keep the ice rink running whilst everything's going on, so you've obviously got something on top of it so everyone's not slipping around, but apparently it's absolutely freezing whilst you're sat at ringside. So even though it is August, I might have to take a coat with me or something like that.
Oh my goodness. Well, hoping it's a good result as well, because having a local boxer and be a part of it, we want to see really good win.
Yeah, for sure. Mark Chamberlain's trying to rebuild after he fought Josh Padley at Wembley Stadium in a fight that was meant to be pretty comfortable for him in terms of where he's going in his career. And ultimately, it didn't go his way on that night, and he's now rebuilding to try and get himself back on the big stage again. Those Saudi Arabia fights where he's fighting for life-changing money and big opportunities. Is at a new weight class now against Jack Rafferty, and he's going into the Lion's Den because I know it's an ice rink, but I know, you can't run away from it. I know it's not. Obviously, it's in a bit of a different venue, but Jack Rafferty is a big ticket seller, and there's expected to be about 2,500-3,000 of his fans in there. So Mark's really going into away territory, and he's going to have to deal with a real hostile atmosphere.
I've just realised what you could call it: a polar bear den.
Yeah,
that's better. Not the lion's den because of the cold.
Polar bear den.
Polar bear's den. Thank you, Dan. Also, got to have you in the studio. Obviously, talking boxing. I wondered if I can ask you a little bit, because have you ever put out what team you support on Solent?
It's been mentioned a few times.
Are we okay to out you as an Arsenal fan?
You can do it if you want to.
Yeah, okay, fine. The reason for asking is because obviously this huge stat that came out today, I'm sure you'd have seen it, the biggest transfer window ever in the Premier League, £2.37 billion, that's according to data from Football Transfers. Wondered what your thoughts on that as well as an Arsenal supporter. Big signings, big money. It's been incredible.
Well, it's been incredible to witness across the Premier League. I think you look at Liverpool and the likes of money they've been spending, and to be fair, they've been selling well as well. I feel like last year, the last couple of windows we've had, there's not really been, it was a bit of a kind of setback. People weren't spending as much, but it seems that clubs are really, kind of turning the screw this transfer window. And I mean, Arsenal have signed some real big players, and the Eberechi Eze stuff that's come out recently is I think, something that they were maybe one short in terms of attack, especially down the left-hand side, and having Eze come in, I think really elevates them up to in terms of where Liverpool were with the window and what they've done. So I think it's going to be a really exciting kind of title race this season. You look at Man City, Liverpool and Arsenal, I think those three will be up there. But I think it's in terms of Arsenal, I think they need to sell a little bit better. As much as they've spent a lot of money, they don't really tend to get much in terms of trying to sell these assets. And I think Alex Iwobi is kind of the record sale at around £30-something million. So, when you're signing, big money stuff like players like Declan Rice a year ago for 100, well, more than a year ago, 2 years ago now for £100 million, and even this
Jack Grealish went for that, didn't he?
Yeah.
About 3-4 years ago now as well.
Yeah. But no, it's been really good to see, and you've seen that kind of filter down to the other leagues as well. When you look at some of the fees that Wrexham potentially paying big money for, was it Nathan Broadhead? I think it was. Yeah. Jay Stansfield to Birmingham, that was a huge fee. It's all kind of filtering down, and this is the new kind of reality when it comes to football. You've got to spend money to compete. So, yeah. It
gets confusing though as well. I know there's lots of Forest fans again concerned this season because of what happened last year, and teams have got to work within that maximum 70 to 85% of their revenue. Otherwise, we've seen again what happened with so many teams getting docked points last season. So, it'd be interesting to follow. See what comes out, because I'm sure there's going to be some issue somewhere.
Yeah, no, I think Bournemouth have had an interesting kind of rebuild so far as well. The new signing from Bayer Leverkusen, Adli, I think he looks quite good. I did find it interesting listening to Jordan Clark's show last night, speaking to the German football expert, saying about how he reckons if Adli had gone to another Bundesliga side, it would have been for a much less fee, kind of around £20 million.
Really?
So he reckons that the Premier League's really kind of driving up that inflation with transfer fees.
Wow. Funny you should mention that, because we're going to hear from that clip in just a minute. So thank you for teasing that.
That's right.
Appreciate it. That's Dan George.